So if you're a dentist and let's say it's like, okay, I love this message. I don't want to have to work in this practice when I'm 70 because I ran out of money. But I want to learn more about this stuff. What maybe like a couple, but what would you recommend? Where do they start? Like, how do they start educating themselves? Because I always feel like I want an unbiased source first so I can learn a little bit because I just don't know who to trust to take advice from, right? So usually what I look for in the beginning is like, is there any really good books where like they've stood the test of time? It's not like at the end of the book, someone's not trying to pitch me something. It's like, it's just a good financial book. Are there maybe like two, three books you could recommend that's like, hey, if you want to learn about this stuff and how it works and at least get a foundation for it, where would you start? What would you be reading?
I would say the two things. Number one, it always starts with a mindset shift. It's the way that you think about money, because every real estate investor I've come across or anybody that's interviewed me, they've always talked about, yeah, it took me thinking about money differently. Because if right now, most people that are listening to this are probably just thinking, I go to work, I studied hard, I went to school, made good grades, I've got this job now, I'm paying a lot of taxes, and I just send my money to a financial guy and he takes care of it. And then when I ask them, well, what are they doing with it? I don't know. It's like, dude, are you serious? You don't know what they're doing with your money? Well, I get these statements every month that I don't really understand them. But the thing is, it's like people are so busy, they don't want to take the time. But I'm like, that is the most important thing.
Yeah.
Is why are you going to work every day? Yeah, you want to go provide value to patients and this and that, but it's inevitably to make money, not to lose money. And you want to have money that, that's going to work for you in the future. But we're all of us are just geared toward trading our time for money. And if they knew that there's unlimited supply of money, just look at our government, they print it all the time, but that's a very limited supply of time. You can't get that back. So to answer your questions about the resources in the books, 99% of the people that I've come across, they've always stated it always started with reading Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And then I think for me, even more important was his follow-up book to that, The Cash Flow Quadrant. Because if you read that, you're going to feel like you've been duped. And that's what we've been duped, because it talks about the 4 different quadrants of how we make money. And, we either go from an employee, for dentists, we're either an employee or we're self-employed. And I thought from going from an employee working with that endodontist to now being self-employed, I was the man. I wasn't going to have to answer to anybody. Nobody could fire me. Well, I guess my wife came in, she could fire me, but for the most part, I write the checks. So, but when you look at how he explains it, it's like, dude, you're nothing more than a glorified employee, because if you're not there in the practice, you're not making money. You're trading time for money, and you're taxed the most and this and that. So that's part
it's
of
not really a business. Yeah. People don't realize what the difference between business and self-employed. Like, it's like, I have a company. It's like, why? Because you have a logo. Like, that's not how the business works. Yeah. And then like learning what investors mean. And I love that book. I thought it definitely opened my eyes to, it's like, you're a freelancer to, like, you're just an employee really, at the end of the day. Doesn't work. Like, the businesses function very differently.
Yep. But his goal for us is to get us from the left side of the quadrant, which is the employee or self-employed, which he calls the poor side. And they're paying, the trading time for money, and they're most highly taxed individuals, to the right side, which is the rich side, which is the business owner that has systems in place. Like you've got these systems in place, people working for you, that you don't have to be there to make money. The business owner and the investor. And that's what my goal is, to educate dentists and physicians, to get them to be investors, passive investors, where their money's working for them. And I speak with 2 different types of dentists every day on the phone that come to my website and they schedule a call. They either, number one, they're burned out, they hate what they do, they want to get out as quick as possible. Or number 2, they like what they do, they enjoy it, they don't want to retire early, but they want to be able to work on their own terms.
Yeah.
They want to have options. They want to, if they want to retire at 50 or earlier, or or 70 or whatever, but they don't have to keep working. And having passive income, having these different income streams coming in allows them to do that.
So right now, so to help everyone understand, so you have a lot of really good content on the YouTube channel, on the website, the debtfreedoctor.com. I've read a lot of the blog posts, and it's quite interesting. Like, it's very in depth. You break down a lot of like financial stuff, like here's how the math works, here's how the legal works. If they wanted to start learning about like, well, what kind of investments actually work today? How are these deals structured today, not 30 years ago? Like, how, is that when they start reaching out to you, or yeah, what are the next steps? Well, what
I
would I
have
do?
I have a passive income guide that I've put together on my site, debtfreedoctor.com/free guide. Or if you just go to debtfreedoctor.com, it's on the homepage. And once you sign up for that, it's about 8 to 10 pages, a little ebook. It walks you through, and it gives a couple examples about what we've been talking about today, the passive income creation, replacing your income. And then you'll start getting a few emails about what it takes from, being a dentist, starting from where you are, just starting the basics and learning. And along the way in those emails, I'll provide resources like other articles, some YouTube videos, because I want to take somebody from where I was before that didn't know anything about this to getting to the point where you can invest, have enough knowledge to where you can invest on your own. Because I don't want to put somebody in the position of being like, you just giving your money to a financial advisor and you don't even know what they're doing with it. So with this, you're in control. I want them in control because that's how I want to be. I want to be educated enough with that. So I would start with downloading that. Probably the best book for real estate syndications is one called The Hands-Off Investor, by Brian Burke, Burke. You can get it on Amazon. Very, very detailed book, but it's the best one out there that really breaks down pretty much everything you want to know about syndications.